Let's cross to our reporter in Parliament, Bulelani Philip, who was, of course, in that gallery for us, representing us. A very good afternoon to you, Bulelani. You raised two very important questions then this afternoon, and perhaps you can take us back to, what the President had to say, and whether, in fact, you were satisfied with the answers you received to your questions. You spoke about the allegations around the Health Minister and the fact that the President has said, look, I take the allegations seriously. And you also then said, as I was saying to Professor Ivo Sarakinski before talking to you, you said, look, in a situation like this, ideally, a minister should perhaps be on suspension or should himself take leave of absence. And Professor Sarakinski, in fact, even saying, look, in a situation like this, what I think should happen is that, someone should fall on his sword. You also, on the back of it, raised the issue of load shedding. Now, of course, this has become something that all South Africans are dealing with and talking about and grappling with, and we're all frustrated, I suppose. Let's talk about the answers, and really if you were, kind of satisfied with what you got out of this media briefing as a whole, really.
Well, Flo, good afternoon to you and to the viewers at home. In fact, I want to just take you back to his budget vote yesterday when he was concluding his speech, when he said that his presidency office is not just about talk, it's going to be about action. But of course, if I bring you today, basically the questions that were asked to him was very bland in terms of the quality of answers. And I mean, as journalists were living here, quite a lot of murmurs about the quality of answers. But if we start with this question, which was the elephant in the room, both during his budget vote yesterday as well as in this press conference, actually speaking to some of the speaking points that he made yesterday about government's commitment to fight corruption. Now, of course, the question is that here is an example of somebody who is embroiled in a corruption allegations, and people who are close to him actually benefiting from tenders that are under his department. Of course, the president, I put a question to him to say that if you're really genuine about the fight against corruption, here is a typical example that you can use around sending a strong message to those in future who may be implicated in similar scandals. Of course, the president taking quite a sober and quite a distant answer in answering that, moving away from what yesterday was calling a serious and disturbing allegations, and today is just saying that he's concerned and disturbed, but he wants to take a cautious line in terms of dealing with this kind of situation of the health minister. Of course, his defense is that he wants to wait for the outcome of the investigation by the Special Investigating Unit to finish its investigation, and therefore he will take a cue from the findings of that investigation before he acts. But the question is that here was an opportune time for him to actually demonstrate about his commitment to fight corruption. But of course, the question of whether he's going to place the health minister on suspension or rather leave of absence, it actually just brushed it off and said that people must trust him and that these allegations against the health minister will not be swept under the carpet. Flo?
All right, and in terms of, just as in closing, I think I just want to go back to my earlier question in terms of the satisfaction around, the president now agreeing to take questions from the media, from reporters. You yourself, as a reporter, no doubt seen quite a few of your colleagues kind of complaining about, we sit there, we listen to what the president says, but then generally we don't get an opportunity to ask and pose those questions. So I think it's quite important for you, Bulelani, to talk to that, the fact that here we go, there's that opportunity, it came today, and if it was made full use of, essentially.
Yes, Flo, I think generally there is a general consensus about this attitude or this opportunity that has been given by the president today. Of course, the Press Gallery Association, which is the organization that represents journalists here in the parliamentary precinct, as well as members of the South African National Editors Forum, have been actually calling on the communications team of the president to hold a regular, press conferences to actually talk about some of the issues that are, hot topics in the country. Again, there's been criticism about him not taking questions after he's addressed the nation on the update of COVID-19. Of course, this debate was sparked by an interview that he did while on a state visit in France, where he had a one-on-one interview with one of the local journalists there. But when we just juxtapose that, it's very rare that he's able to engage the media in that way here at home. So I think his communication team has actually taken the cue around the concerns that have been raised by some of the journalists in the politics and the parliamentary precinct to say that perhaps maybe it's time that there is ongoing engagement with the president so that at least some of the hot and burning issues in the country he can be able to address so that the nation at large is able to be up to speed around those discussions. Flo?
All right. Thank you very much, Bulelani, for that. Much appreciated. Bulelani Philip for us, our Cape Town senior reporter there.